Good morning, everybody. This is your instructor, Ann Teed, for Adelphi University, our course in the role of the arts. And today I'm going to continue with this little mini-series of lesson planning, the who, what, where, when. Last week we focused on the who of all the main players in who are the recipients, who ordain what we have to teach, the who part. And today we're going to do the what. And we're going to spring off that who because they have a big decision on the what. What are we teaching? So I want to start with last time we talked about administrators and we talked about students and we talked about parents and different levels kids are preparing for college, portfolios, and young kids are we want them to express and we want them to figure out who they are with their arts. And so there's a lot of those who people. And so today, the what. There is no, I've been a teacher for many years and I've been in so many schools in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey. Long Island is another whole shoot off. Manhattan, all around the place, up north in New York State. So I get to see rural, I get to see inner city, I get to see schools that have a lot of money and schools that have no money. Kids with challenges, kids that are being launched into the creative realms where they have everything at their fingertips. So with that said, what is what then? What are we teaching? It all depends on the who and where you are and money and a lot of things to think about. And so if you go into a school, and many of you might be in schools already, there is already something in place of what has to be taught, the what. Is it a lot of multicultural? Is it interdisciplinary because the school has a lot of STEAM and STEM? Is there a curriculum that was written previous that your administrator is holding the arts teachers accountable for? Or is everybody surfing through to accommodate the theme for the year or what's happening with the state standards? There's always an ebb and flow within schools. And we as the art educators are kind of, as I mentioned last time, riding the surfboard depending on what the focus is, what budgets are happening. Many times we're cut because the arts, wait a minute, our kids need this, we need that, or the arts in the budget planning of a community where they want to cut, many times they are cutting the arts. And we know this for a fact. So that has a part of the what we are teaching too. So sometimes we have supplies, sometimes we don't. What supplies we have dictates what we're going to teach too. So if you have a well-stocked classroom, that's going to be a different what than if you have bare bones. And I have a student right now who is looking into many ways to work with no budget at a school. So students have the materials to express themselves, have materials to create. So that what has to do with also what's at hand. Some teachers are on a stage or in a gymnasium, or some teachers do have a classroom. Sometimes that what is dependent on that where. So what we teach depends if we have tables, if we have floor space, if we have drying space for painting, if we're art on a cart. What are we teaching if we don't even have a classroom and we're schlepping around a four-wheel thing that if you don't have an elevator and you got to go up and down stairs, that's a whole nother thing too. So the what is very complicated, and I want you to think that way because you don't know what's going to be thrown at you when you go on a job interview or when you get your own teaching job, or you may already be in a situation that sounds very familiar to what I'm describing. So what are you going to teach? It goes back to that who, too, of your expertise. If you're a trained 2D artist, you may be very fluent in pencil and charcoal and paints and maybe even graphics. So 2D is very different than 3D. If you've been a trained 3D artist in clay and wood and metals, that's going to be a lot of what you're teaching too. You're going to go to your knowledge base. So the what is of what materials you have, the what of who you are, and what you can share and teach, and your expertise is another what. And then, as I mentioned before, the school may have a curriculum or may have themes that they're focusing on. Elementary, it may be that certain times of the year, Black History Month, we may have certain things. Springtime, we may be celebrating the seasonal spring concert, and the art teacher is asked to participate in making a whole gallery of spring artwork that goes thematically with other things that are going on in the school. Sometimes it's historic things that we're pulled into social sciences. Sometimes it's science-based, and we're looking at pulling in how we in the arts are very scientific. We're very mathematical. That's what we do, especially visual arts. So that what is riding that pulse of what's expected at the school. A funny thing happened the other day when I was talking about the who in my first video to a teacher, and she said that her husband is being evaluated for tenure. And if you don't know what tenure is, it's that hoop you jump through that you're secured now. And sometimes the teachers that are seasoned say it can be a curse, or it can be a really great thing that you can breathe easy, or it may be, I'm saddled for life here, I'm set, I'm in. So that evaluation is a really big evaluation. And this particular conversation, it was told to me that the principal didn't even want to see lesson plans. Wanted to see the teacher teach, wanted to see how this particular teacher was a man and how he worked with his young children with the concepts and with behavior in the classroom, and that everything was smooth, and how he networked with other teachers, so that who and what are very, very connected. So think about that what, and many times you go into a school, you get a job, and that what is, when you open that closet door, what are the supplies? What's there? And sometimes it is looking at the focus of the school, and sometimes it's totally you're on your own, and you're not connected to any themes or anything, and you're creating that teaching experience right organically from who you are and who your students are. So you don't know what that lesson planning is going to be like. So be prepared for that. And as I give the final project, it's going to be a little clearer that what you have to be very, very flexible. So signing off, I hope that that gives you a little grounding of the what part of lesson planning. And next, we're going to dig into a little bit of maybe the why. Enjoy. Keep looking at resources online, and keep knowing that where your feet are where you're supposed to be. Thanks.